What's up, everybody? It's Big Jack and Glenn back with a Bears update video, a little week two recap of their 19-13 loss to the Texans, and a little preview of their game on Sunday at Indianapolis. Uh, Jack, it's great to be back here with you. It would have been even better if they would have found a way to win that game on or this past Sunday night, I should say. Um, that game was there for the taking. What were some of your immediate thoughts? Obviously, not the offensive display that we hope to see midseason, but some things were going in the right direction. Um, what are some of your immediate thoughts after that game?
Immediate is, like you said, it feels very much like a missed opportunity. Our defense played extremely well against a Texans offense that I think is going to give a lot of people problems throughout the course of the season. To limit them the way that they did was incredibly impressive down on the road. Certainly gave them a chance to win the game, and the offense just once again, similar to week one, couldn't get anything going. The only, I don't even say I would necessarily call it a knock. It was kind of tough that the way, we were able to score that touchdown finally. The offense had a good sustained drive down the field, scored a touchdown kind of right towards the end of the half. But then we let them come right back to snag the momentum and get that deep field goal from Fairburn. I don't know. It was frustrating. I know and I expect there to be growing pains, but Caleb Williams has not done a single thing impressive at this point in time, as far as I'm concerned. It's tough to watch that. Tough to see. I feel some of the frustration that you could see on the screen from some of the players. Like when he missed DJ Moore, I mean, I felt probably the same fucking way that DJ Moore did. I was like, dude, come on. He is wide ass open. You got to make these plays. He had another one to, I want to say it was Carter. He just totally missed him, overthrew it, underthrew DJ Moore on an interception that got called back because of a flag, underthrew him again on a play that was intercepted. Yeah, maybe DJ Moore could do a little bit more to fight for the ball there, but also if you make that 50-50 play, if you give it a little more air, I like DJ Moore's chances to come down with that ball. I don't know. Obviously, the line was atrocious, a million pressures. That's a huge factor. I'm not downplaying that, but I don't know. Quarterback play is always at the front of mind for the obvious reasons, and it's been frustrating and uninspired to this point. But hopefully that keeps getting better as we move along. Um, you know, I I heard a comment from my boy. He'll give me shit for this, but Kirk Cousins. I heard an interview with him, and he was saying how I was out since week 8 last year, coming off the Achilles, not really doing a whole lot in the preseason. And he made such an obvious point, but I thought that it was a good one in the sense of, we're at practice doing all these things, and I've been in this league for, close to 15 years, whatever it's been. And he's like, I'm not in that red jersey come Sunday. It's a lot different when you're in practice and you get these pressures and no one can touch you and you step up and you still make the throw because no one's closing in on your space. And then you show up in the regular season on Sunday. I know Caleb Williams got plenty of snaps in the preseason, not as many as I probably would like, but he got a good amount considering the way people handle it these days. I understand that. But even in the preseason, you're either going against, maybe you're going against starters who know they're starters and aren't really going full throttle in the preseason, or you're going against guys who aren't starters, so they're just not as good as what you're going to see in the speed of the game once that regular season hits. I'm really hoping that that's what's going on. It's these first two real games in the NFL. It's a massive jump. Everyone talks about the speed of the game from college to football is not even comprehensible for these guys. And I just hope that that's what's in play right now. It's him working through that, this week and moving forward, one or two more games. Hopefully things really start to slow down for him and he's able to do what we believe he can do back there with his arm, with his vision, all that good stuff. The one thing that is encouraging to me from that perspective is he doesn't look like he's scared to get rid of the ball. I hear all this buzzword in the media. Everyone's like, "Oh, well, you don't want him to end up seeing ghosts out there." It's the fucking NFL. He's going to get hit. He's going to get pressured. That's the way it goes. What are you talking about? Ghosts. It's a second game. He's got to be able to figure out how to take the hits, make the plays along the way. I'm still highly confident that he will do so, but immediate thought, and I've been rambling. I don't even want to go much past that because in my mind, it's all that matters. He's got to get better. I think he will get better. I think it starts this week.
Yeah, he's got to get better. He doesn't look great. Um, the offense as a whole doesn't look great. Defense looks really good. They did a really good job against Texans. Yes, Stroud still had over 250 yards or whatever, but to hold that team to 19 points in their own stadium, I don't care if it's week two. That's a good game by that defensive outfit. Um, they were an inch, a fucking hair away from a potential pick six as well with Kyler Gordon, which would have been massive in the game. Granted, that's not in the game plan. You know, that's something that maybe you luck into every once in a while. You can't be planning on that. We need more out of our offense, but man, it would have been nice if they would have found a way to win that game. That would have been a great win. That being said, they lose. Offensive line doesn't look very good. Quarterback doesn't look very good. Wide receivers look frustrated. Um, Coaching staff pretty much doesn't seem to want to take any blame. They just say everything's on execution. They seem to think they're doing a great job. But that defense is doing great. So I guess we got that to hang our head on, like we have it for the last however many years as Bears fans. Now we look ahead to week three. Um, Bears go into Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis to take on the 0-2 Colts. A disappointing 0-2 in their minds, you got to think. This roster that they're about to go up against is pretty solid from top to bottom, maybe excluding quarterback. But they do seem to be facing some injury bugs early on in the season. This is a game, given the fact that they've given up, I think, on average, like 200 plus yards on the run through 2 weeks. This is a week that you got to think they got to try to get that offense right. Um, Jack, any overall thoughts about this next week's game before we get into your keys in a little bit here?
It's a little bit more big picture in the sense of this is such a crucial part of the schedule. The Bears are find themselves in a very fortunate position, to be honest. I know they're dealing with the Keenan Allen situation. Hopefully, he's able to find a way on the field these next couple of games. But they're facing a depleted Colts team whose defensive front is currently the worst in the NFL, and they're going to be missing their best player. Buckner just went to IR. That's a huge break. That's something you got to be able to take advantage of. Then you got the Rams coming into Chicago the following week. They're going to be missing their top weapons in Puka Nakua, who's already on IR. Cooper Kupp sounds like he might avoid IR, but he's almost certainly not going to be playing the next 2 weeks. I don't know. They're catching some big breaks with these two games and the injury situations that their opponents are having to work through. And then you got Carolina following that. You have 3 games that you could skate out 4-1 with the rookie quarterback having his growing pains, learning on the fly, hopefully going into week 6 rather, with that little bit more of experience, those real game time reps. And then you sort of go from there. You should know what this team is. You should have your identity locked in by then, and you just build on the season from that point forward. And that is the big picture I'm looking at right now. This is a very crucial point in the season that could swing it one way or the other for how it's going to play out down the stretch.
Yeah, absolutely. You're hitting the nail on the head. You look at that first 4 game stretch before the season, and you're thinking Tennessee's probably the easiest of the 4 games. The 3 after are going to be hard as hell. But the Colts seem to be stumbling out of the gates, facing some injuries as well. Rams definitely facing some injuries. They're stumbling as well out the gates. So maybe you're catching these two teams before they get things right later in the season. I like where your head's at. And honestly, the way their schedule shapes up until like week 10, like they gotta find a way to stack some wins because it's gonna get real tough. The division's really tough. And then like their non-divisional games after week 10 are like the Niners and shit. Like it is not easy. So yeah, from now till week 10, yeah, Caleb Williams is going to be learning as we go, but defense needs to keep balling out. They need to find a way to get some W's for sure. That being said, if they're going to get out of Indianapolis with a W on Sunday, what's the first key to that going to be?
I think we just roll right into kind of what we were talking about off the top, and that Indy defensive front that is dead last and now depleted that much more so. Um, you got to be able to run the ball. This is like last weekend we talked about strength on strength for the Bears secondary going up against that Texans receiving core. This week is like it's like a week on week. The Bears' offensive line and slash run game has been seemingly horrible. They kind of abandoned it at times. At least it appears that way. And this Colts offense, excuse me, this Colts defense has been getting run all over. They've been getting steamrolled. So the Bears got to establish the run early and often, take some of that pressure off of Caleb. Let that offensive line get on the front foot. Let them go hit somebody. Let them make some plays. Get them out there feeling like they're the ones controlling the tempo. They're the ones kind of laying the lumber out there. Let them feel good about themselves, and then hopefully that pass protection starts to look a little bit better. Key number one, you got to take advantage of that weak defensive front that the Colts have been presenting to this point in the season, and you got to run the ball down their throat.
I love it. It's a great key. It's an obvious one given the state of that indie front four. But that being said, it's probably the biggest key for sure. Other than the ones we try not to highlight every week, which is turnovers and stuff like that, because obviously that could always affect the game. But yeah, being able to establish the run, take advantage of some injuries on that indie front, absolutely going to be a key. Something I'd like to see personally. I'd love to see a little bit more under the center runs, just lining up under center, and a little more classic downhill running game. They've been doing a lot of stuff side to side, and I'm sure they have their reasons for it. But just seems to me like it would probably be a good thing to let Swift get a little bit of a uh, little momentum going, a little forward momentum, and hit the hole. So personally, I'd like to see a little more running the ball from under center, but that's just me. Um, Jack, your second key of the to a Bears victory.
I agree with that point real quickly. For whatever reason, it's, a big thing. Obviously, Caleb is well documented. He's more comfortable playing in the shotgun. So I'm sure that that is a factor. But too much of these negative east west plays where Swift isn't even getting back to the line of scrimmage. And I mean, my opinion on running backs. We don't need to get into all that. But like, it's not even the guy's fault half the time. He's running the play and he has no chance. By the
Yep.
time he gets to gets to where he's got to go, he's just getting blown up by two, three guys in the backfield every single time. So yes, I agree. Let him get it, in that backfield a little deeper, running downhill, have the vision to be able to see in front of him a little bit instead of this bullshit spraying out to the sides and just praying you get it right. I think that's a great point, but I don't know if they'll do it because I don't know if Caleb's comfortable. I guess we'll see
Sure.
how that plays itself out. Even if they don't, though, you should still be running the ball upfield. None of this side to side stuff.
I agree.
Um, Key number two uh, is a little bit more of a call out. Key number two is Darnell Wright. You have been so disappointing. I realize a lot of people like Darnell Wright. They thought he was good last year. I haven't seen it at all. I don't know why anyone thinks he's any good. He's a top pick, number 10 overall. I mean, I guess the Bears traded out of that number 9 just to slide to 10 because they knew they wanted Darnell Wright. He's top 10 pick, and he just has been disappointed, in my opinion. There's been multiple tackles who went after Darnell Wright who are seemingly quite drastically better than he is. He's got to step his game up. Last week, I don't know if it was just me. I can't pretend I'm the most well trained offensive line analyst. Last week might have been the worst game of Darnell Wright's career.
He was
He was
terrible. He was
horrific.
terrible.
And he's got to get better. And I know that the offensive line has a million problems, and he's just one of the million. But he's a big fucking one, and he's part of your future. That is going to be paired with you for hopefully the next 4 or 5 years and beyond if he's good enough to earn an extension. And he's got to start showing it because what I'm seeing at this point in time is horrible. And I can't I need him to be better because if he's better, I think that the offensive line, its connectivity is such a thing. If one guy can be a rock, you can lean on that guy and build around it. And Darnell Wright needs to prove that he can be that rock, and he just has not to this point.
Yeah, you know, he faced a gauntlet of pass rushers last year and was also supposedly like battling some injury. Didn't look like great as a rookie. I was really hoping to see some kind of sophomore improvement out of the guy, a little second year. Oh, okay, that looks like a potential top 10 pick. He looks bad, man. And this, you're not kidding. This last week, he had a couple plays where it's like that guy was a top 10 pick. That guy didn't even fucking move. He looks like a bum out there sometimes, man. So yeah, I love the call out. I agree 100%. We spent a top 10 pick on you. You better at least be like solid and fighting. He kind of looks like he doesn't even give a damn, which is tough for me to see as a Bears fan. To see a guy that is the only guy on the offensive line that we invested high draft capital in, and the guy just on some plays he just looks like he doesn't care. His calling card, one of his biggest achievements in college was when they played Bama. He went to Tennessee. When they played Bama, he shut down Will Anderson. Will Anderson was a non-factor. The other day, Will Anderson ate his fucking lunch. So hopefully that's a little bit of a wake-up call for him. Maybe he tunes into this podcast and gets a little wake-up call from us as well. But I agree, man. And the other thing, he doesn't seem to be getting called out from anybody else, man. And he just looks bad. And he was a top 10 pick. Like, what the fuck? I
Yeah.
agree. I agree completely. The whole offensive line right now is shambolic. In my opinion, probably the best lineman we got going right now is probably Braxton Jones. And the guy was like a 5th round pick or 4th round pick. And I know nobody's the biggest fan of him. I'm not saying he's great. He's probably the best we got right now out of the 5, and it's not like he's some awesome lineman. So it's tough out there. I'd love to see the offensive line as a whole improve, and it would be great if it'd start with Darnell Wright looking like he was even a 1st round pick, let alone a top 10 pick.
Yeah, I mean, to your point about it, no one's even like getting on him or anything. I, I feel like that in general is a frustrating part of this team. It's Caleb Williams is so young. I don't
Yeah,
as much as it seems like people love him in that locker room already. You're not going to be getting into guys that are veterans when you're a kid coming in. I mean, it just wouldn't work. It'd become a cancer. It wouldn't be a good situation. I'm not suggesting that he has, he doesn't have the skins on the wall to be in that position to do that, where you would typically see a Peyton Manning, a Tom Brady, type Hall of Fame quarterback who, you know, by year 5, 6, 7 in their career, if this shit was happening, they're letting them know. I'm not sure Caleb's the one to be that guy quite yet. I actually would venture to say I know that he's not, but someone's got to be. I don't know if it's Eberflus. I don't know if it should be the offensive line coach. Someone's got to be getting on these guys, and they need a little bit of a shake, a little bit of a wake up call, whatever the fuck you want to say. It has been abysmal at times, and they gotta man up a little bit and start owning it, take responsibility, and shut people up. You don't want to just be the laughing stock, the weak point of the team the whole season. They got to hear what everyone's saying about the way that they've been playing. Step up, man. Have some pride and go out there and get it done. Key number three. This one is it's a matchup key. Caleb Williams needs to outplay Anthony Richardson. That's key number three. Probably the biggest key in my eyes to win this game. Like I said at the top, when you asked me what my immediate thoughts were after the fallout of the Houston Texans game, that seemed very winnable, and we just couldn't get it done. That's where I'm at with this week. Caleb Williams has got to be better, and I think he will be. I truly believe that this dude is going to be a quarterback finally in Chicago, and I know it's still going to take a little time. But Anthony Richardson has not been very good. He played 2 games last year before he got hurt. He's basically in his rookie season. I know it's a huge advantage, and everyone says, how important it is for some of these guys to sit out and watch and learn. So that's definitely in his benefit. But he's still, getting his feet wet very much the same way that Caleb Williams is. I think he's got a lot of crazy measurables. His arm is bananas. I mean, he looks like a tank. It's kind of like a throwback to when Cam Newton first came out. You just didn't really see guys that looked like that back there.
Yep.
So he might be a good player. Might learn some things along the way. But if you're Caleb Williams, if you're supposed to be generational, you're supposed to be all these things. You're getting the fucking Mahomes comparisons. You're getting all this and that, all the accolades. You're a Heisman winner. You go in there and you look the part. You're better than Anthony Richardson. Show it on Sunday. Go get a win in his building.
I love it. I absolutely love it. Spot on. He's got some flashes, that Anthony Richardson, but you'd like to think throughout the course of the game that Caleb will play better than him. And I think it's absolutely a key to victory. Um, Also, I kind of love that they're all three offensive keys. Um, right through 2 games, defense, not only from a gameplay perspective, but also just kind of their demeanor and how they're handling themselves seems to be something we don't need to stress about too much right now. Um, this offense needs to get it going, and a great way to get it going would be running the ball through against that depleted Indianapolis front seven. Uh, Darnell Wright stepping up and finally looking like a serviceable right tackle. Maybe even beyond that. Maybe like a first round right tackle. Maybe a top 10 pick right tackle. A top 10 pick right tackle. Usually you pick the left tackle in the top 10, not the right one. And if you're picking the right one, you better look like fucking Joe Alt does through 2 games. Not like how Darnell Wright has looked through a season in 2 games. And number three, if Caleb outplays Anthony Richardson, I like our chances as well. Those are Jack's keys to a Bears victory. I like those keys, and I like the Bears to get a win. If you guys are not tuning into our best bets videos, I picked the Bears as one of my best bets this weekend. I picked them +1, going into this game. I don't know. I just think it's a week where the offense has a chance to get right. And if they do that and the defense keeps holding down their thing, I like their chances at a victory. Your thoughts? You like the Bears' chances this week? You nervous? Where's your head at?
I don't know if I'd say I'm nervous.
Right,
I
right,
mean,
right.
I'm maybe anxious is a little bit better than nervous because I hate to even bring it up and put it out there, but it's looks a lot like the same Bears team we've watched for the past. I'm 33 years old. It looks like the same team I've watched for 33 years. I, I don't know, man. It's been a frustrating start, so I am a little anxious about that. But I stand by my earlier points that I do believe this is going to be different over the course of time. It's very early. It's tough. It's the NFL does such a great job because it is one game a week. You can absorb it all. You can react to it. You can anticipate what's coming next, and blah blah blah. You go on and on and on, and I think he'll be the guy. It's going to take time, but he's got to start showing it sooner rather than later. I do think the Bears get a win this week. Offensive keys, like you said, were very intentional. I think the defense has shown what they can do. They got to keep doing their thing. I think Eberflus will have them sort of toned up, going back into his where he came from as the DC and Indy. He's returning home. It's going to be a big Sunday for him. I think the boys are going to want to put it on for him if we're to believe what everyone says about Hallis Hall, regardless of my opinions of the guy. If all the players are going to tell us how good he is in the locker room and that's what all the reporters are going to feed us, well, let's see it this weekend. I'm sure they're going to go out and do their thing if that's the case. So I'm not worried about the defense. I think if the Bears are able to address the things that we've sort of discussed, I think they go out and stick it to them. I like the Bears to win this game handily. So I really like your best bet play of being on the Bears score prediction wise. I don't think it's going to be like crazy because I'm not sure that they're quite there yet. Plus, I think if they do run the ball, just from a time of possession standpoint, they're going to have longer possessions, hopefully more
Sure.
sustained drives, sort of taking some time off the clock. I'm going to go Bears 27, Colts 13. I think the Bears win by 2 touchdowns. Really lay it on them, make a
That'd be
statement.
incredible.
I think there's some as frustrating as the loss was, especially from the offensive side of the ball. I don't know. I think you come out of week 2, maybe with a little bit of confidence and like, hey, we should have beat that
Yeah.
team. That was a playoff team on their home turf. And, we sort of didn't capitalize on our opportunities. And I think that hopefully it'll be a lesson learned going forward and they handle it this week.
I think it's going to be a high scoring game. I agree with a lot of your thoughts overall. I do think it's going to be high scoring. I think the Colts are going to find a way to get to 21. And I think the Bears cover. I'll go 27-21 Bears, 48 points. Kind of high scoring. High scoring compared to what we've seen through 2 weeks, I guess. But that's the Bears video. Hopefully, we come back for the next video, which is going to be a little bit of a work in progress. I'm going to be out of the country. Hopefully, we come back with a 2-1 Bears record, feeling a little bit better about how things looked. Um, can't wait. Can't wait to watch. Um, Absolutely can't wait. I come away from last Sunday feeling like the general Bears fans are disappointed about how the offense looked and about how teams looked and how it looks like a lot of the same Bears shit going on. I think the true ball knowers know that this team's close. It's built decently well. The offensive line being the biggest problem right now. It's just a matter of can Caleb prove that he's the guy. And like you said, you got confidence that he will be. I have confidence that he could be. Um, and I think there's a chance for them to kind of get the thing going here offensively. So that's all I got for the video. Any last words for the fans, Jack?
No, got to go take care of business this weekend. We're all going to be in India at some point. We're coming for them. Going to put some fear into those farm fuckers and we'll take care of it, baby.
Hell yeah. All right, hit it for him one time.
Bears.
Bears.